Riverbend Awareness Project.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast episode are solely those of the individuals participating and do not necessarily reflect the views or opinions of Riverbend Media Group or the Riverbend Awareness Project, its affiliates, or its employees. It is important to note that the discussion presented is for informational purposes only and should not be construed as medical advice. Listeners are encouraged to consult with qualified healthcare professionals for any medical concerns or decisions. The Riverbend Awareness Project is a product of Riverbend Media Group.
Welcome back to the Riverbend Awareness Project. This month we are talking about National Volunteer Month, and we have Susan Stuckey with us today. She is a Just Serve coordinator, one of the Just Serve coordinators in our East Idaho area, kind of covering Ammon and some other Idaho Falls areas. So thank you so much for coming in today. We're excited.
I'm honored. Thank you.
We're excited to learn from you.
Thank you.
Yes, we are. What does National Volunteer Month mean to you, and why is volunteering so important to our communities?
Well, volunteering and service has always been important, but this year it just has intensified. It's on steroids. In a minute, we'll unveil what Idaho is doing for our celebration of 250 years of freedom in our country. But we absolutely know that service blesses the giver as much as the recipient, and that when we reach outside of ourselves, it boosts our self-esteem. It's good for our health. Of course, it always blesses someone else. So it seems like when you take time to serve, everything else in your life kind of falls into place.
Yeah. So you mentioned the 250th anniversary Focus This initiative. Can you explain a little bit about what that is and what Idaho is doing to focus on service for America's 250th anniversary?
I'd be so happy to. On January 22nd, we were privileged to be in the Capitol as the House of Representatives and first them and then the Senate had this resolution read, and then they voted, and then the unanimous vote got a standing ovation. The HCR 22 resolution declared Idaho a state of volunteerism in the year 2026 as our state's way of commemorating and celebrating the 250th birthday of our country. And so we're so excited, as you'll see in just a minute. There's so much happening and so much yet to happen as this rolls forward into 2026.
It's awesome. So a lot of people might not be familiar with Just Serve. Can you kind of explain what Just Serve is and how it can help connect people with opportunities?
I would be so happy to. Just Serve is an amazing free platform. We call it a movement now because it is just rolling forward, and as people catch the spark of flame of service, they get more and more excited. But we work with nonprofits to find their volunteer needs and post it on justserve.org. Then everyone in 17 countries can go to Just Serve, put it in their zip code, and projects that are needed, where volunteers are needed for. Projects that need volunteers are then populating the screen. And you can select whatever. We never assign. No one ever has to report back to anyone what they're doing. It's just all a volunteer experience, and you find something that suits your interests. Maybe you like to walk dogs. You go walk a dog at an animal shelter. Maybe you love the symphony. You could sign up to hostess at symphonies. There's so many more. We'll talk about many that are available in our area.
So if somebody has like a certain trade skill or something like that, they could find something to help with doing that.
Definitely.
Like carpentry or anything.
Definitely. And there's things you can do in your own home. I'll share some of those in a minute too.
Cool. So it really fits, like you can find something that fits what you're looking for. It connects the people who need, the nonprofits and the organizations who need people with the people who are looking for ways to serve in the ways that they can serve. I think that's really cool. That's perfect. So how are Just Serve and the 250th initiative, how are those two things kind of connected this year?
Because we have a passion for serving, we are helping support and promote the America 250 in Idaho Service Challenge. So back to the resolution, as the House and the Senate both passed, as I mentioned, unanimously, there was such an incredible patriotic emotion present there with everyone in the on the floor and in the galley, and in the gallery, and just watching that, you're just so proud to be an American, to see that Idaho, it recognizes that helping our neighbors, doing service, is really what Idaho is made up of. People helping people. And we have such good people in our state, such good people in our whole country, actually. But it's just been fun to see how people get started serving and they want to do more and more and more. We've made it very simple. People can choose whatever active service they'd like to do. So what the service challenge really is we have challenged Idahoans, or Idahoans have been challenged to perform collectively across the state 250,000 acts of service before the 4th of July. Now, all of 2026 has been declared a year of volunteerism, and we'll continue serving. But now our big goal is 250,000 acts of service, which is really 250,000 acknowledgments of acknowledging our neighbors and their value and their needs.
And you were telling us about, before we started, IdahoKindness.com. I'm going to pull it back up. I had it pulled up on my phone. And there's this awesome count for the acts of service for Idaho. And right now it's at 94,601 acts of service. So
that's where you go to post your acts of kindness, right?
Yes, and everyone can do this and everyone needs to do it. In fact, you can go back to January 1st. And if you've been serving somewhere consistently or just a few times that you can remember, enter those acts because it will help us reach our goal. And of course, it's a goal far greater than just numbers. Mm-hmm. But this number helps us. And we hope we blow through the 250,000 acts before the middle of the year, before the 4th of July. So there's many, many fun things that the state is doing. I mean, lots of people, I'm sure, across the country are, we pledge and we wave our flag and we applaud and we're patriotic. We are proud of our country. We love our country. We love and appreciate our freedoms. But in the state of Idaho, we get to do something with our hands to make a difference, to make a historic difference, to create awareness of service and habits. Can you imagine these young kids, 5 kindergarten classes on the western side of the state got together and tied edges of fleece blankets to give them to foster children.
Wow.
They realized not only a new skill, but also that there are other kids who might have some needs and they can help those kids. It's just amazing the lessons they'll learn as they serve and step outside of themselves. Put the screens down and go and do something for someone else. It's a big esteem booster.
That's great. What are some of the other ways that people can volunteer to help in the community?
Well, in our community, we have started several community-wide, I'm calling them traditional, they've become traditional service projects. We just finished our 6th annual Valentine's for Seniors. After the pandemic, everyone was aware that seniors were lonely and isolated. What can we do? So I thought, okay, what if we ask elementary students to create a Valentine? I've talked with Senior Solutions owner Chance Powell and said, if we could make Valentines, how many seniors do you have connections with in our community? Senior citizens. And he said 2,000. I thought, oh, how would we ever collect 2,000 Valentines? But we just got the word out the best we could the first year, and we collected 5,050.
That's awesome.
So that year we were able to take some to the first responders, inpatients in hospitals, the hospital workers. It's a year when everybody was working overtime, trying to help each other. And then also we've had generous donations from area businesses that we were able to take roses to many of those people. First it was 550 for several years. Then the next year we did this again. And again, we were surprised that a good share of the Valentines were from adults. And we just finished our 6th annual this Valentine's Day last month. And we were able to collect, and we've always pledged to deliver every single Valentine over 10,590 valentines and almost 3,000 roses. So hopefully that many people were reminded that they're not alone, even though they might be lonely, that there's other people who are thinking of them. And then, of course, it's exciting for all the people who created beautiful valentines and all the people who got to help deliver them. And then we have Global Youth Service Day. It's a big international movement, globally, obviously, but it is run by Youth Services of America. I believe it's called Youth Service. But we love aligning with Global Youth Service Day to work with our youth. We know that that's so good for teens and younger kids when they find a way to serve someone else. And so we've got a couple of plans for this year. Some people go for a whole month. It's Global Youth Service Month or Day. And April 25th, we'll be doing something on a large scale. We hope trying to create something statewide that we could do simultaneously with teens. If that happens, we need someone to sponsor us. So if anyone's listening, has a business that they would like to support teens in service, tax-deductible donation would be fabulous. And we have some other things planned too. Then, this year, we're planning our second annual Just Serve Night at the Chuckers game on June 26th. That was our first year last year, and it was so much fun. We wanted to focus on nonprofits in the area, and so we did that. We had someone sponsored, actually it was Teton Volkswagen sponsored a party in the park, a tailgate party, prior to the game. And then we had videos of people serving actually at Melaleuca Field prior to the game several months before and a few years before some service that some volunteers from Just Serve cleaned up Highland Park next door. We were having the tailgate party. And so on the video board, we were able to show people in the community actually serving.
That's great.
And then we gave out wristbands to the first 1,000, Just Serve wristbands to the first 1,000 attendees at the game. And we threw out about 3 dozen Just Serve T-shirts and just had a really fun time doing that. But probably the most fun of all, in that year, we also presented the mayor of Idaho Falls, Rebecca Casper, at the time, the Idaho Falls Just Serve City designation plaque. And that was kind of a new thing. In fact, we have 4 of our cities in our area that are Just Serve cities, but also Idaho was just proclaimed a Just Serve state, the first ever Just Serve state, which means they're going to promote volunteerism and service in the area. So I'll tell you probably 2 highlights of that Just Serve Chuckers game. About a month before, we thought, how are we going to marry Just Serve and the ball game? Mm-hmm. We wanted it to be cohesive. Not only are we just fans of the Chuckers, but let's show the community that Chuckers are fans of Idaho Falls. And so we arranged a month before to pick up the Chuckers and took the team over to the soup kitchen where they served a meal to the patrons there. We videoed them, and the video is precious. I never get tired of watching them. And I was there live with them too, but saying, we owe debt to this community. You're so supportive of us. And of course, none of them are local. Yeah. Most of them were from Chicago or somewhere in California. But Chuckers support Idaho Falls, and Idaho Falls supports the Chuckers. But we had 4 nonprofits. We had people bring food for the community food basket donations that night. We actually had them bring boxes of cereal. And the next day we made dominoes with those boxes and kind of played with the food before we put them on the shelves for distribution. It was fun. And then we had 4 of the nonprofit directors there. How often do they ever get to have a night off and have somebody take care of them and go to the ball game and not have to worry about things? They're 24/7 working for our neighbors in need. And we honored them, and that was really fun. And we had some very generous sponsors who allowed us to use their box seats at Melaleuca Field. So these nonprofits and their spouses or a few of their staff were there to be able to watch the game and just enjoy. And we got to recognize those people who work hard. Blue Cross of Idaho donated 350 tickets. We were able to invite foster families to come. They can get along with, basic things, but how often do they have some kind of extra thing? So that was a big plus. That will be June 26th, and we hope people will come and support the Chuckers and get excited about Just Serve and all the other fun things that we'll have going on that night. And then we have an entry in the parade each year for the teens in Idaho Falls area, greater Idaho Falls area, in the 4th of July parade. And we even give you a T-shirt that you can wear forever. And so every teen is invited. You can email us at idahofallsjustserve@gmail.com if you can't reach us any other way. Then also, we support the National Day of Service. As we know, 9/11 is the day of commemoration, and we can remember by serving. And so we've been doing some individual projects for National Day of Service, and hopefully you'll be reminded when you see our signage out and go to Just Serve to find a way to serve. And then in 2020, when there was a shutdown of most things, the mail carriers and the Boy Scouts were not doing the food drive for the community food basket. And recognizing that need, some of us got together and said, hey, we can help. We can do something. So we started this drive that is all the month of October. We have grocery stores who participate. So we have volunteers, Just Serve volunteers at grocery stores on Fridays and Saturdays for 4 hours each of those days. Not every grocery store, but those that are participating. And then on Saturdays, every Saturday, we ask neighborhoods to choose a Saturday for their drives. So this last year, we brought in about 100,000, a little over 100,000 pounds of food.
Awesome.
And 1.2 pounds is equivalent to a meal. So you can see that's a lot of meals.
Yes, it is.
So that's a few things that we're doing locally.
That you could be part of. I think it's so cool that, I don't know, it's just so cool to see communities come together in service. And I know, like I have a church group that sometimes they're like, oh, here's this, like they find service projects and they invite everyone to come. And it's impressive how this community comes together to serve one another and help people in need. So
it really is. It really is. I'll tell you a few of the local needs that we have right now, but then how when we had a meeting in January with a lot of the Just Serve coordinators around and faith leaders, civic leaders, mayors, and nonprofit directors, I've heard of at least 4 who have collaborated with each other. Mm-hmm. But if you wanted to do something at home, Lasagna Love is a national, probably international group. Started during the pandemic. Some lady thought, I can't solve the world problems, but I could make a pan of lasagna for a neighbor. And it has just grown into something big, really quite big. And so we got involved a few years ago and just sign up at lasagnalove.com. And then you put in your zip code, and anyone who has a need and would like a nice homemade dinner can sign up, kind of apply. It doesn't have to be, maybe you're just so overwhelmed with life. Mm-hmm. But it could be, there's been an illness, or my husband was in an accident, and we've had all kinds of different stories. But there's absolutely no judgment. They're just listed, and you sign up, and you can take a dinner to just a person you've never met. It's really a thrilling experience, actually. And so Lasagna Love is a fun one. In our area, too, someone just started Village Threads. It's creating feminine hygiene kits for African girls. And right now, they are needing people to sew. There's many different needs there, and you can find that on justserve.org in our area, too. Also, we know that Ronald McDonald's Family Room always has needs. And that's a very fun, delightful place to serve. You can go and cook a meal. You can go and make cookies for the patrons. It's like when someone's far away from home or even near, and the families can actually stay in the Ronald McDonald Family Room while their child is in the Mac, just down the hall. Or they can just come back and forth if, they don't choose to leave the child during the night. But there's going to be a place to shower, a place to rest, a loving, unconditional, loving place. And it's actually it's very beautiful the way that they have arranged the whole
The space.
Yeah, don't you think it is?
Yeah, we've done things with Connection before, and I haven't been there, but like from what I've seen, it just looks very cozy and home-like, which is what you want when you're dealing with a family member, especially a young family member being ill, and so it's cool. And I think you could donate things too, like material. Like I know sometimes they need like laundry detergent because I think they have a washer and dryer in there and things, so you can, like you said, make a meal or cookies, but you can also donate items that they might need. I think I could be wrong on that, but
you're exactly right.
So I think,
and it goes beyond. If there's children at home, other children at home, while their parents are away taking care of the sick, the ill child, they make sure that there's gifts sent home to those children. But they've just arranged all their donations, so it's just like decorated with so much love. And there's quilts that are crocheted or knitted, and Afghans and quilts that are made. It's a beautiful place. Development workshop. We know that we have patrons that are physically disabled adults, and they're always busy doing things. But they just started a Friendship Friday where they invite people to sign up to come in, and they can maybe play cards or just visit with some of the patrons there, or have a list of things that you could do, fun things. Now, who wouldn't want to go to Friendship Friday? I mean, you're overwhelmed by your whole week. I can't do one more thing, but you make yourself go, and you will never, never, never be sorry. You always come home happier.
yes.
So good things are happening at a development workshop. Community food basket. We know that our Idaho Falls Community Food Basket serves about 30 small pantries besides their own. They have very high needs. And I've been there many, many, many times, but it wasn't until last year that I went over to the distribution center. So the warehouse is on North Boulevard, and you can donate food there. You can go in and you can make an appointment, go in and do sorting parties. We've done stapling parties for the mailers. It's really a gratifying to look on to see how generous this community is, not only individuals but businesses, who are donating to this cause to help feed our neighbors in need.
Something like that would be good for a family to sign up and go do. You could take your whole family and go and sort food.
Exactly, and it's fun, and it's a very, very fun atmosphere. We love the staff there. But I went to the distribution center that requires 40 volunteers every day.
Oh,
wow.
To help the patrons. And I believe it's from 3 to 5, maybe 3 to 6 on Monday through Friday. And they've now, with a donation of that old meeting house, they've been able to set their their distribution center up like a grocery store. So people, have to be pre-qualified, but they come in and check in, and then someone helps them through all the lines and choosing what they wish to get. And I sat at the very end where all the bakery goods were, and any bouquets of flowers that had been donated to Community Food Basket were given. Just at a big Just Serve event we had in January, we made 120 birthday cake kits. So, in a kit, people would be given this at the end of the line, just say, someone at the end of the line could just say, if you have a special occasion in your family this week, help yourself to birthday cake kit. And there's a cake mix, there's frosting, there's candles, there's a can of soda pop, which takes place of the eggs and the liquid in the cake
awesome.
mix. And so, and the pan, everything's in their pan. So they can just take that and make a cake. And so that's a really awesome place to serve to, a Community Food Basket. Humanitarian Center. It's huge and it's growing. The other day they had 187 people in there at once. Oh. They're open Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Plus they also have youth nights twice a month. And great hygiene kits. Did you realize that they distribute 100 to 150 personal hygiene kits every week? 100 to 150. That helps someone create a little dignity with shampoo, a bar of soap, a toothbrush, a toothpaste, a comb, and a washcloth. And so they're always taking donations of items for the hygiene kits. And the list is on Humanitarian Center's website, humanitarian.org. But you can see there's certain sizes that they ask for, but they're widely distributed. And then the quilts and the afghans and the toys that they paint. But there's a need for them, a huge need. And everything stays within our region. I believe from Soda Springs to Island Park to Driggs.
So it all stays here in eastern Idaho.
It does. And there's such a need. And people can go and enjoy a few hours or all day long on Tuesdays or Wednesdays at Humanitarian Center. That's just over in the Fred Meyer area.